Okay, so let's talk about weeks 3 and 4 as part of our like mid-season shenaniganery. So week 3, co-op duality week. It was us v Aga's backup dancers, which Bread, Hitman, and Marith. Good team, good friends. I think, what was it? Game 1 was Hitman and Marith versus Kaesden and I.
Yes.
And I will be honest, I don't know.
I can tell you what
how
happened.
much I remember of that race.
I can tell you what happened. And I wasn't the one playing. I calmed that race, and it was a cluster of just the two of you. Like, I don't want to be mean, but like, you shit the bed. I remembered.
Was
like,
that the seed that we just, neither of us could execute to save our fucking lives?
Yeah. There were bad things happened.
You both died like everywhere. It was a mess. And I gave shit afterwards because like we had talked. We were like, you were like, Jesse, calm the race. It's going to be fun, going to be a great time, And I was like, I don't know. I might be going out on a date tonight. Like, that's kind of the thought. And they're like, no, it's okay. So I talked to the girlfriend and I was like, hey, I might, when do we want to get together this weekend? Because, that's our weekend. The weekend is our time to do so. And she's like, no, calm your friend's race. It's great. Like, go have fun. I really know you value this and I value your hobby. It's like, thanks. Really appreciate it. I don't want to neglect you. And then that race happened. I was like, I wish I just went out.
God damn. Okay, so first of all, Jesse's girlfriend, good people. Never met her, but good people. This is something I can absolutely confirm. Because, like, for her to straight up be like, yo, no, like, go do the thing for your friends. Like, we can do date night another night. Like, that's really sweet. Second of all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, what a shit show to have to, like, miss out date night for.
I mean, is it any more of a shit show than what happened in game 2?
I mean, at least game 2, you guys
or game 3?
W? Or, yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I guess we need to talk about that, don't we? Yeah, well, a little bit.
So, yeah, game 2. Kaesden, you want to tell us about game 2?
You're asking the guy with the goldfish memory.
Okay. Yeah. So, game 2, Kaesden and I were playing against Bread and Amerith. So, we got the admin showdown. Very nice to get that happening.
Woo!
So, on the Aga backup side, unfortunately, Bread's console just shit the bed a couple of times and he lost massive progress. And like that was just insanely tilting. Like he was really not happy about it. But Kaesden and I actually weren't happy either because we were a couple of dumbasses.
That's why I don't remember. I blocked this from my memory.
Yeah.
The game never happened. It's not on the record.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of times, like one of us would just forget something or that we had something. I got into TR and went all the way to like Mimic Cave and forgot I had the TR big key. I had 5 crystals and then became the pendant player. Like it was a shit show and a half.
Oh my God. So, now I fucking remember this.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because I was at work. I didn't get to watch it live.
No, you got home and were freaking out.
That's right. I was sitting in the driveway like I'm going to scream. I can't go in right now because I am going to absolutely just lose it on these two. What is happening? And then the next time, the re-race, because you guys did offer the re-race.
Yeah, so we finished the race and Amerith and I were talking in admin chat and we were like, I said to Amerith, I was like, Case and I want to offer a re-race. We're like not happy about what happened. We feel like shit. Like, would you guys be available? And we also were like, hey, other admins, is this kosher? Like, Dante, Drossi, Lumaga, like, is this okay? And everybody's like, yeah, like you guys are offering it of your own free will. Like, if you guys can schedule it before the end of the week, all good. So Amerith and Bread were like, we can, and we're like trying to just shoehorn this in. I'm like, I've got this little window here for the day. Bread's got this window. Case is like, I can do any time. Amerith's like, I can do before this time. We're like, we have a window. So we re-raced. and everything went fine. Or at least fine for us. We did get the win.
Yeah, we got the win, or I should say you guys got the win. I did nothing except for that one I barely got to catch even like the end of. Because literally I get home, I park in the driveway, and at that point, I think like, if I remember right, was like Fire Rod your go mode, Jesse, or something like that?
Maybe. I don't remember the details. I just remember the broad strokes of what happened that week.
Yeah, like I think it was like Kaesden was done and you were in go, and part of me was like, why is Kaesden not going back in? Or was that the first race?
That was the first race where Kaesden was not going back in.
Yeah, okay. So the second race though was so jet. Like it was so fast. Like I pulled up the times and was like Jesse was done at 53:59, Kaesden at 57:50. Like I got home thinking, okay, I'm going to maybe catch the end of the race. And like, no, race is done. Like interviews are happening when I'm walking in the door. So I'm like, well, cool guys. GG. Scary fast.
No, that one felt a lot better. Like
even out of all our practices, like, was that our only sub-hour run we had too?
I feel like so many of our practices had like a required bullshit dungeon with bad keys. Like always like something in Pyramid Fairy, something on TR, like just some bad situation that would always come back to bite one runner to make it much longer of a race.
Something about like having to, I was going to say having double dip, but like I know that was something that we were trying really hard to avoid was double dips, because I feel like in duality especially, like double dips were honestly like a death sentence, right?
Yeah.
Like
no, they really are.
Like, if you can avoid going into a dungeon until you have the ability to full clear it, or at the very least, like, beat it, like, it feels a lot better. So we walked out of week 3 with a nice, solid, even record of 3-3. And then week 4, in Flukies.
I mean, do we have any other, like, thoughts on duality? Like, I don't want to like
let's do that. Like, any thoughts on duality? I like the mode. I want it to come back. I think it's wild. I know that there was some like friends of ours who were not the biggest fan of it after like playing it, but I do think it's fun.
I like, big shout outs to the German community for, I think, being the original like creators of the mode. It's just a really fun one to play. And like, we had a lot of fun with it. I think the timing mechanism was appropriate this season. I'd be curious to try it out the way the Germans did it.
What did they do different?
They do average time.
Average time, okay.
So like, it's a cool, different idea. I think their rules about re-entry are a little different as well. That could be fun.
I actually thought about it some. Like, would it make sense to do combined time in this? Going back to the idea that, you know, the mode
that's no different than average.
Is it not going to be any different?
No, like average, like for average time, you could just sum the two and figure out who has the lower time.
Yeah.
So
I am not going to pretend that I know and or am willing to do the math on that. So I'm gonna just trust you. I think that there could be some interesting decisions with the timing mechanism for sure. I feel like for what we had for the first season of it, it was good. It was fun.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I think the biggest takeaway I saw was like, you know, I, as an admin, I'm checking the feedback channels every week. Mm-hmm. And like, generally speaking, there wasn't really a feedback thing that week. Like, the discussions, like, there was a little bit about it in like the whole discussion for the week 3 mode of duality was finish time. And I think like that's a discussion to be had, is like, we can try to do a different timing mechanism, but I don't feel like, I think overall the mode was well received. And I do like seeing that.
I think you'd have to like, and you could even just go back through the data. It's like, look at the different races and see how many races would have had different outcomes if you scored it average versus last finish.
Well, and the hard part there is even if we did that kind of data sweep, what you're going to lose
way
out
you
on
play is different.
right.
Yes.
Like if you even look at our race, like, you know, that first game too, it's like I had 5 crystals in no time. I would have killed Ganon immediately. And then it's like, well, what's the reentry rule? Is it I'm allowed back in after the credits? Am I not allowed back in and I should stay? Like, it's very hard to determine what the true idea is there. And like, it would change a lot of those races beyond just like who did what was the averages, because not to mention the fact we just have a lot of DNFs. Like,
right.
I think that's a really good point that isn't often considered is like, yes, if we decide to go to averages, I say we in like general royal we sort of deal. Like if we decide to go to averages, there has to be a very clear cut decision on re-entry, because we have so many different forms of hardware that people play on, whether that hardware is just their computer with emulator, right? Or, you know, SNES Classic, like the actual SNES, like who knows? There's so many different ways. And like, we know that there's the in-game set fast forward function, but we even saw people talking in the feedback thing about like, hey, you know, reset after the info saves, which I've always been told like it's, you know, you have to go all the way through credits before you can reset to go back in other like co-op situations. But this person was saying after the epilogue finishes, when you're entering the actual credits is when it saves.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the different stuff about it. I think the whole fast forward thing is like obvious. Like the actual game fast forward is fine. Emulator fast forward out. Like no, because we want an even playing field on that regard. And in terms of like the save and like when the data saves, I get what the argument that we saw about it, but realistically, the correct spot has always been like seeing the CR and IGT.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Has been the standard set for so long. Like I know I realize the argument of like as soon as it gets to like the credit scroll after like is it right after like all the post screens or whatever?
It's after the first credit, basically. When it starts going to the second scroll with all the info and
it's after the epilogue. It's after the
ped.
Yes, after ped. There we go.
Yeah, that's something I never even knew before it was brought up, because like I know the game doesn't save when you go into the Triforce room. That much I knew. I'd never thought to test like, hey, when exactly does it save? I just knew it didn't do it then, and by the end of the credits it was saved. So the fact that
I think that's the thing. Like, we've always placed such an importance on that end screen of CR and IGT. Like, this goes back to as long as we've been here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume it goes back before that. Like, you know, since the inception of this community, like, I feel like that's been the standard of, like, you must show that screen.
I would agree with that. From my knowledge, anyway, like, I would agree with that. I think that is just something that, you know, we'll have to see what happens in the future with it, right? Like what the admin team of League decides for League Season 8. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like we can always learn like, you know, what we got out of this was another co-op mode that was fun. Like, you know, you look at the modes that we've done this season and we talked a lot about 80 KDB and its success or failure. And, you know, some people want to see AD back and like other stuff. It's like, okay, we know AD works. We got to see that duality is a good, fun mode for this season. We've always had the co-op enemizer. You know, we're doing this as the mid-season, and like week 5, of course, is going to be co-op cross keys. We've done pilot spoiler a bunch. So we've got all these different modes to kind of like fill the gaps of saying like, if we want 4 co-op modes in a season, what can we do that are 4 fun modes?
Right.
To make sure everybody's having an enjoyable time.
I think so far, as far as the co-op modes from weeks 1 and 3, I vehemently enjoy duality more than 80 KDB. 80 KDB grew on me, but it was still just a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know Kaesden and I had done a lot more practice of AD KDB. Like, really, it was trying to develop me as the quarterback of the mode, and like you and I you benefited a lot from the practice I'd put in to kind of learn how I wanted to captain it, and like it did help. But like because it grew on Kaesden and I a lot more. I think Kaes, you were kind of in agreement, yeah. Because you and I had done the tournament run by Telethar, Gem, and Clearmouse, and we were like, we enjoyed that tournament. And then to see it in this format, we're like, I don't know, maybe. And you and I really grew into enjoying it a ton. So
yeah, I grew into liking it more. I still prefer the mode as a solo mode. Like that hasn't changed, but
yeah,
for co-op, like it definitely. It reaches to like certain people that are going to enjoy it, and some people just probably never will because it is a much more involved mode. There's a lot more going on, a lot more to think about, and little ways you can optimize it. And some people may not enjoy it, but I think overall it grew on me as we played more and more.
Yeah, I will say as an admin, I appreciate everybody, across the board. We didn't have any issues with people doing the same goal or any of the other like possible moments for the week. So really appreciate everybody, really keying in for the rules, especially after, when we did that week 1 recording teasing about the delay stuff and people not reading the rules. So thank you.
No, I think that was a well handled situation, and yeah, I'm not gonna keep talking about that because words are hard. In Flukies.
So yeah, in Flukies week, just last week, we talked about this, I think, while we were doing the week 2 episode stuff that will be edited in or whatever. There was one undefeated team left after the end of week 3, and that's who we were facing off. We were up against Usebo, that is Telethar, Structural Mike, and Gem. So Kaesden and I got to meet up with Telethar and Mike. I had Mike, and Kaesden played Telethar. Kaesden.
I was gonna say, don't be too excited to talk about the race.
That was a scary race. I'm happy with how I did as much as I can be, given that I ended up losing. But like, Telethar is no joke, so I'm not going to really be that upset to have dropped a game to him, especially keeping the time close. And a race I felt I was competitive and I played well. Like, there's a couple decisions I could have made different, but it's super easy to go back in hindsight and be like, oh, well, yeah, if you just do this, you could win. It's like, well, yeah, but you don't know that at the time. So what are you going to do? You just have to take it, learn from it, and see if there's anything you can apply in future races.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I thought you did really, really well. I know how you felt going into that race, and like to have finished within, what was it, like within a minute?
It was somewhere between 1 and 2.
43.
It was less than 2.
Yeah, a minute 43.
Less than 2 minutes. Like, I think I was dropping in right as Telethar finished. Like, I couldn't have asked to be much closer than that. Like, getting as close as I was, like, it's a little heartbreaking at the time when just like you start climbing, you're getting to Aga 2, and you're like, I might actually have a chance at this, and then to have it drop right there. But still, like, you just have to look at, you did better than expected, and just take it for what it is.
I'm proud of you for whatever that is worth. I think you played well. Like, you just straight up were gaming, and like you said, like, you were against a scary fucking player. Like, Telethar is no joke.
The team is undefeated, right? So like,
yeah,
they're like, I know when we're recording this, it's beyond inverted week already. They're still undefeated. So, they're doing something right.
Yeah. I guess that kind of leads into game 2, Jesse versus Mike. I will have to defer to both of you guys on this one because I didn't get to watch. I was just getting text updates from Kaesden while working. So I don't really know a whole lot, but
Yeah, so I lost that one. I didn't finish the seed. And like Kazen and I post-mortemed a bit on that race. And like the hardest part was looking at it objectively. Like, I don't think I did anything that I wouldn't do again. Like going through the items, there was some garbage of like had to go into desert to get a big key to pod, to go to beat pod, to get a big key to desert, to get a mushroom out of desert, pendant desert, which had the GT big. And the first chest of swamp had our Arcana Samaria for item go.
Right.
And like mirror was Spike Cave or something. So like
something to that effect. Yeah.
So like Mike and I talked during the interview. We were with Gil and Tyler, I think were the comms.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds right.
Like we talked about it, and like I think hearing like how my route unfolded, I was like, I like my route. It worked out very nicely. And then at the end, it was just like I ended up in GT basement without a GT big key. You know, that's not fun. So I full cleared the basement, and like as I beat Ice Armos, Mike finished. So I was like, I'm not doing anything more. Such is life.
I think that's honestly reasonable to say I'm done. Like that's
just the thing. It's like you look at the two races we had this week, and you know, Kays and I versus Mike and Telethar are fairly even races, even if, you know, we say so and such person has an advantage here or there. Like I've raced both of those guys in plenty of tournaments now, and like the back and forth I've had with both of them has always been like 50-50 in some regards. Like I can beat Telethar or Mike on some days, and some days they'll beat me. It's just life. And I view Kaesden the same way in that regard. Is like, you know, he'll have a run and get wins or not. And like that was just the way it went that week. Was we both just didn't get the run we needed to clutch out a victory.
Yeah. I think like you and I, when we race going back and forth, it's different too compared to you and Mike. Because you two have such vastly different philosophies of routing and just approaches to the game. It's like when the seed is rolled, whoever is going to win that seed is almost like just determined when it's rolled, because executionally you two are pretty close. Like you're both really good at the game, and it's just whoever's route happens to work is going to end up being the winner of that seed, and you're more just kind of playing it to make sure it's like don't screw up, and then see who pulls the correct route.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to say about philosophy, really. It's, you know, like I there's just that idea of like, oh, XYZ person doesn't enjoy catfish, you know, and that's just a play they won't make. And, you know, we talked about that with the boss hunt, is like Leo going to catfish, and Kays and I are both like, ugh. Like we hated the play, and it was just absolutely the right call. You know, and it's one of those things. It's like Leo trounces us in that seed. That's a philosophical difference of playing the game, and like that's what a lot of these come down to. And like if you accept that part of playing this hobby, I think it really helps you keep it healthy.
Yeah,
I think who was it? Was it maybe Scoople that said like forever ago, like the game is a lottery.
Yeah.
Like there's no guarantee. Like you can make all of the quote right decisions and still lose because of the luck factor. And it's just, you know, everybody, we all have our own ways of handling decision making in the game.
Right.
And some seeds it works, some seeds it doesn't. And you know, as long as you can walk out of a seed knowing that, like, you know what, like, I may not have won, but I don't dislike the decisions that were made, then I think that you can walk out with a good feel for the game. I think you nailed it, Jesse. Like, it helps to keep it in a healthy perspective.
Yeah, like, not to dwell on, like, announcements or stuff, but you know, there was the Tark announcement this week about a person being banned for cheating, and it's just like, you know, I know all three of us have been on the 216 individually. It's talking with Fear about Tilt and, our place in this community. And it's, when people talk about, not taking this too seriously, you see that dark side with the cheating stuff that comes out. And you're just like, us talking about this as, hey, you're not going to win all the time. Like, some things are just not going to work. And like, keeping that in mind and just living with it a little bit hopefully helps people just enjoy this. Just have fun. Maybe.
What?
Crazy idea.
I've been having fun
Excuse
playing
me.
video games.
Sure.
What is this madness?
But no, you are exactly right. Just, it's, at the end of the day, it's a game. It is something that we play, yes, competitively, but for fun. It's not meant to be something that we get all up in arms about when somebody makes a different decision than us and it happens to pay out, because that's just the way rando works. And, I hate that there's some folks that feel so negatively about the game. And it might not be like negatively, like they feel like bad, but like in the sense of they have such a negative mindset about the game that they feel like the only way to feel better about the game is to force wins by cheating. Like, it's just sad.
Yep.
It's sad for everybody involved. Like, it's sad for that runner. It's sad for their opponents. It's sad for the community because, we see people who are friends with others who make this decision, because it is a choice. It is absolutely a choice. They make this decision and it just splinters and fractures so many people around them, including themselves.
Well, that's the thing is, as soon as that initial announcement came up, you had you always have somebody going like, oh, I raced that person. Did they cheat against me? And you're just like, don't send yourself down that spiral. You do not want to. Like, it's not worth your time, but it's hard not to.
Yeah. I think that it is a dangerous spiral for sure. And man,
back to happy
it's rough.
stuff.
Yeah. Focus on the fact that you're still here because you're playing the game fairly. But yeah,
so that was in Fluky's week.
Yeah. Sorry, we got real dark there for a minute.
Real sidetracked.
So yeah, but yeah, cool. In Flukies, did everybody enjoy it?
I enjoyed dodging it.
Yeah, I know.
I enjoy inverted in small doses. I had fun with it. There was enough practice though, and enough with the races. I'm good. I don't want to play it again for at least 6 months. So, and
that was the spot I was in. Was I had done inverted tourney and I had just finished my run in that, finishing third or tied for third, and was just like, okay, I got 1 week left of it for league, and now I can take a break from inverted, and I don't want to touch inverted for a good 6 months maybe. If it comes up, maybe I'll play it once in a while, but definitely taking a step back and just being like, I've had my fill for a little bit.
I think understandably. I don't mind watching it. I didn't even mind the couple of practices that I did with you guys. I think it exposed some gameplay weaknesses of mine that, let's be honest, when you're faced with a weakness of yours, it never feels good, but it gave me an idea of something that I needed to actively work on. And I think that's good. And
that's the thing. We talked about, during those practices, I think we had also started doing a little bit on the practice for this coming week of co-op cross keys, and the issues you were having in inverted or in flukies kind of got highlighted in our first couple of practices as well. Yes. So it was kind of eye-opening to kind of hit both at the same time and be like, this is what we're talking about. This is the stuff you want to work on. Well,
it's that, and then it's seeing how much those little inefficiencies and issues can really mess with the co-op aspect, because it throws your timing off.
Yeah.
And then like an overworld death, for example, like now you're having to play cleanup, and that sucks. That never feels good.
Yeah. I was going to say, we had that with our practices for co-op cross keys. It was like,
Yeah.
you took a death from a Tektite somewhere, and it was like, okay, don't worry, I'm going to follow in behind. And then it's, oh, I found the bow.
Yeah,
at the one
it was
thing you didn't get to check.
Exactly. Like, God damn it. Like, you just want things to go well. And then that happens in a practice. But much rather get that stuff out in practice than during an actual race. Because we saw that with week 3. For all of us, we saw that. Like, it was just... I think, like, we can kind of laugh about it now, but at the time, it was so frustrating. But I'm happy to be over the halfway point. And even though as a team at the end of week 4, you know, we're 3-5? Am I doing my math right? Yeah, 3-5, which doesn't feel great, but also we've had some really close matches, and we've had some where we were the problem. Like, it wasn't a seed issue, but it was an us issue. I think that's a fair way to say that, right?
Yeah, I think that's always going to be the case. Like, there's always that possibility that something's just going to go wrong.
Yeah. I think that's another thing, too, going back a bit to the, like, healthy mindset of the game. Like, there's going to be times that things go wrong, but how you handle it, I think, in the moment, too, makes such a difference. I think that's kind of where Fear's question about, like, you know, how do you handle tilt comes in. And I'll say, like, overall, I feel like I handle tilt a lot better in my co-op seeds when I have one of you guys in my ear being able to, like, talk me off the ledge, so to speak, than I do kind of self-regulating. It's a lot harder by myself. But yeah, I am looking forward to the last 3 weeks of regular season and, knock on wood, hopefully some playoff action. Week 5, apparently. Good grief. Week 5. What?
Week 5.
Week 5. We play the Teal Roomies. Week 5, co-op cross keys, Tile Roomies. At the point of recording this part of the episode, technically we've already played game 1. I'll leave it spoiler free in case anybody wants to go watch it, but I will say it was a very close race. Highly recommend. But it's Jesse and I versus Artie Walsh and Plasma Kappa. Both teams doubling up on both races. So this is, I think, the second season we've been with Tile Roomies.
Yeah,
was it last season? Right.
I think it was last season.
Yes, we played them in week 3 last season. What mode was week 3? I dodged. I can tell you that much.
I think that was Kaz Boots.
Was that Kaz Boots, or was that week 2 with Vendrana?
That was week 2. You're right. Week 3.
In Frosia?
No, we didn't have Frosia last year.
I'm looking at the times and I'm like, it was Kaesden and I.
know. Yeah, these 150s, like, what?
That's got to be that
keys?
keys. AAA keys.
Oh, that's it. Add keys.
Add keys.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it was a GT Big on Ped or something is the twist for it last year.
Yes, that's it. Okay. So yeah, and we split with them last year, so here's hoping to do at least that, if not better, this year. Because, yeah, that would be good. At least I think it would be good.
It'd be great.
It'd be great.
Right?
The one thing I did want to mention after the conclusion of week 4, congratulations to every team in both leagues, as we have no teams that are currently winless. So congrats to all the teams who secured their first wins over weeks 3 and 4 of the season. Always happy to see everybody at least get one win during the season and hopefully continue to make strides there.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling to see too, like, as an admin, that the pairings, the matchups, like every team has had at least one successful, I hate to say it like that, but like they've had a run where they felt successful.
Yeah, like I can't say, what the admins go through each year with that, but, getting to hear at least a couple of the teams getting their first win and, having that moment to be like really happy about it was really cool this past week. I specifically watched 2 Pearl 2 Furious get their first win of the season off of 3 off the tee. So, Olive and Trinex got to laugh about it and in post chat and whatnot. So
good guys, really good guys.
Yeah, and I know they had joked about it from the standpoint of I think the last time they were in Invitational, this is their first season back in the Invitational, and it's tough to come back and be like, are we going to be a punching bag for the season or something like that? And getting a win is always a nice feel there.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, if we look at the mid-season standings, just to kind of go through it as it in the leagues. Invitational League, Kakariko Division, our top 4 teams in order: Sticky Priest, Hyrule Hunter Horde, Fendrana, and Motabashin. Boing Boing Boingers, Dead Rock You Like a Burnicane, and Mayan Dean was supposed to carry us. Not out of it. Motabashin was just 3 and 5 after week 4, with the other 3 teams sitting at 2 and 6. So a lot of contests to go there for 4th place. The Lost Woods Division, Hime out front, Banana Brigade, To Infinity and Pagog, and Tam's Triple Potato Pouch following 2, 3, 4. With Noble Foxes, we are also here in Blue Trinex group right behind Noble Foxes, close to Tam's Triple Potato Pouch Mayhem. And we were also here not too far off. Skullwoods Division, 3 off the tee, jumping out. Crystal Roller Crew, TM32 God Route, and Don't Forget to Track Us, rounding out the top 4 with Pugs. You look like you could use a Hook and Lamp and 2 Pearl 2 Furious in 5th, 6th, and 7th there. I know some of that does have results from week 5 in it, but there's a cluster there. So we'll see how that kind of starts going with the rest of their season. And then finally the Meyer Division, Used Bow, our last undefeated team. Agus Backup Dancers, Fear Funity right behind there. JKLoL and Tile Roomies tied, and then Potents and Risky and Terrible Gambits bringing up the rear there. So looks like a good competition for 4th place in Meyer Division at this point.
Well done, by the way, on noting our record and Tile Roomies record as our pre-race.
Yeah. Over in the Open League,
tie.
Where it's important to note that Open League, we're only looking for top 3 teams per division. Eastern Palace Division, Joy of Rando, No FF, and the Hyrule Hula Hands, currently the top 3 teams over in Eastern Palace. Dry Nos and Tankin in 4th with JFF and Ocarina of Ozo? Uzo? Ouzo?
Sorry.
Yeah. Desert Palace Division, our top 3 are Missing 2 Bows, Monse Trio, and 3 Guys 1 Lever. That is currently a tie, though, with the Svenska Pensioner. And then right behind them in 5th and 6th are Chronicles of Hyrule, the Hammer, the Gloves, and the Moon Pearl, as well as the Real Goo Busters. So some competition. Actually, I will say that's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place are currently tied in the Desert Palace Division between Monse, 3 Guys, and the Pensioners. The Pod Division, we've got Blackjack and Hookshots out to a strong start there in 1st place, with a Farewell to King's Tomb and the Long Shots in 2nd and 3rd. They're tied. 4th and 5th, we've got Relegation Chest Boots and 2 Links 1 Chef. Then the Tormentees and the Grouchy Old Men rounding out that division. I will just say huge shout outs to Blackjack and Hookshots. They are we hang out with one of their team members, Gray Corvid, a ton, and he has told us countless times how he's never been in playoffs and love seeing those guys as much as the other teams. I will say we've got friends on King's Tomb and Long Shots and some of the other teams, but Gray's always been really close to us. So
yeah,
big shout outs.
I want to say Gray is very much it's safe to just say he is a regular member of sitting in voice chat on 40 Bonks, and just he'll even just go in and just open up Slay the Spire or anything else, Brotato, and just chill. And folks come in, folks go, and Gray is just
good people.
Gray is good people. I
Unless
adore
he's
that
rolling
man.
a door seed, and then everything gets questionable very
Yes,
quickly.
if one Grey Corvid comes and offers to roll you a door seed for week 6,
Run.
Absolutely
I don't even believe
run.
in like bad seed roller stuff 99% of the time, but
Grey Corvid has
does he have a
a
talent?
collection and a talent for this. He rolled like 20 door seeds that were not the asyncs, and those 20 were garbage. Just straight. Like, I saw so many things that were just bad. I learned a lot.
It wasn't just one bad seed or 2 bad seeds, like 20. They're all bad.
Yeah. Every single one of those.
And to round it out, the Thievestown division, currently in first place, we got more than just an alt. We got behind that Yaps and Naps and third Try Blind, rounding out the top 3. After that, we got Smells Like Troll Seed. You got Poutine on My Cheesesteak, the Hera Basement Dwellers, and the Hovering Sick Kids. So the top 3 have started to pull away in the Thieves division. But, I won't say that the other 4 are out of it yet. But yeah, they're starting to put a little bit of distance of a couple of games as we hit that midpoint here. So 3 weeks to go. We're into Cross Keys week. We've got Cross Keys, Doors, and Enemizer. I hope people have been practicing. I know these last 3 weeks are going to be the tough ones. Co-op Cross Keys, of course, a little bit of a step up from last season with the co-op veterans we saw in the playoffs and the season before. The beginner doors should be a fun one. I've been personally working at it to get better at doors, but I know a lot of people have been trying and learning a lot. And of course, the logical Enemizer with week 7 should be a good change of pace for what we've done normally for Enemizer.
I'm looking forward to them. The remaining weeks. Could be good.
And I will say we didn't have any lead feedback threads for Influkies. I guess I shouldn't be shocked. It's a tried and true mode and generally a okay liked mode for Inverted.
An okay liked mode.
Here's the thing. Like I've had this discussion with people and it's like, we talk about what modes belong in League or what stuff is part of the skill set. Like you want to have a good variety of modes throughout the season. And, is Inverted part of the skill set of being a rando runner? And generally people think it deserves a spot. So I think Influkies is regarded as a decent mode for Inverted. I think there's always going to be people who are like, I don't like Inverted. I like Inverted, whatever.
I just had to giggle at...
I know. Yep, I understand.
But yeah, no, I don't really have anything, substantial to add to that. I wonder what the feedback for co-op cross keys will look like. Because like you said, it is a step up from co-op veterans. You do actually have to keep track of the small keys. But I almost wonder, as, not to keep throwing a little bit of shade back, but I do almost wonder if co-op ADKDB was kind of a good mental practice for co-op cross keys.
And that's possible. I wonder, if the communication skills that people developed that first week of the season, which required a little more than they were used to, kind of helps everybody level up a little bit in a sense. That communication just got that much stronger trying to grasp a much more complicated mode.
I know you and I have been putting in a good number of practices, and I'm excited and nervous for our game 2, but that's rando. It's just how it goes. So I'm excited. We got this. But if you guys have nothing else to add, I think we'll see everybody for the end of regular season recap.